You know what would make this world a better place? Another pickleball podcast. Hey there, pickleballers. Welcome back to the Pickle Fit Podcast, the show that helps you get stronger, more mobile, and injury-proof so you can master the pickleball court. I'm your host, Coach Kevin. I'm a healthy aging expert, a certified personal trainer and nutrition coach, and each week we'll dive into simple, actionable tips on strength training, mobility, and nutrition to level up your game and keep you playing at your best, no matter your age or level. So grab your paddle, lace up those sneakers, and let's get Pickle Fit. This episode is brought to you by Pickle Fit, the ultimate fitness workout program designed specifically for those of us over 50 looking to step up our pickleball game. Are you ready to play harder, longer, and with more confidence on the court? If so, Pickle Fit is just what you need. This is a 12-week workout program that focuses on building strength, increasing mobility, and dramatically reducing your risk of injury so you can master the sport without any setbacks. With customized workout plans available for both gym and home settings and video demonstrations for all exercises, PickleFit makes it easy to stay fit and active no matter your current fitness level. And here's the best part. As a listener of this podcast for a limited time, you can get lifetime access for only $29. Yep, you heard that right. Just visit mypicklefit.com to join a community of like-minded individuals who are turning back the clock on the court. Don't let age slow you down. Head over to mypicklefit.com and get strong, get mobile, and stay injury-free so you can master the court. Hey folks, Coach Kevin here, and today I want to talk to you guys about weight loss. So this seems to be a very popular subject. I read a statistic recently that said over 45 million Americans go on a diet every single year. And here's the thing. Most of us that go on these diets, we lose some weight. The vast majority of us who try to lose weight successfully lose weight, but almost none of us maintain that weight loss for very long. In fact, statistics are very grim on this, and they say that fewer than 5% of people who lose weight keep it off long term. So with that in mind, I want to give you some of my top tips, my top secrets, not just to help you lose weight, because that part, let's face it, that's not so hard, but for sustainable weight loss. Now, before I dive in and give you my tips here, let's start here. Why should you, as an over 50-year-old pickleball athlete, care about weight loss? And I think this is fairly obvious, but what I want to start here with is first a distinction. I want you to stop thinking about weight loss. So I can tell you this from experience. In my other business, I coach men and women in their 50s and 60s, and primarily I help them lose weight, right? To lose fat and build muscle. And almost all of these clients, when they come in, they have a goal weight. So let's say it's a guy and he weighs 200 pounds, but he wishes he weighed 170, right? So he wants to weigh 30 pounds less. Or maybe it's a lady, she weighs 160, but she wishes she weighed, say, 135 or something. But most people who are looking to lose weight have this number on the scale in their mind. I want to weigh this much. And what I want you to do before we start talking about weight loss strategies is I want you to shift that perspective a little bit. I want you to reframe that story in your mind. Oh, I wished I weighed this goal weight, insert whatever that weight is for you. And for a lot of people, it's the weight, that's the weight I weighed when I got married, or that's the weight I got to after my first kid, whatever, right? Most of us have this arbitrary number on the scale that is our goal weight. And what I want you to think about is let's get rid of the term weight loss and let's consider fat loss. Because really, we don't want to lose weight in that we don't want to lose muscle. Especially those of us over 50, muscle is so life-preserving as we get older. There's this term sarcopenia. You've probably seen that word or heard that word. And what it means is age-related muscle loss. And what it leads to is frailty. Very common scenario is somebody gets weaker and frailer as they age. They fall, they break a hip, and you know how that ends. It's not usually good. So I want you to start to reframe whatever weight loss story you're telling yourself and make that a fat loss. What you want to do and what I want you to do is to burn fat, to lose fat, but equally so to gain some muscle. So in other words, we want to replace fat with muscle. That would be desirable. Now look, I tell my clients in my other practice all the time, if you were to lose 5 pounds of fat and gain 5 pounds of muscle, the scale wouldn't budge. You'd weigh exactly the same. But I can promise you this, you would look and feel dramatically different. You would look and feel dramatically better if you lost 5 pounds of fat and gained 5 pounds of muscle. There would be that big of a switch in your body composition as well as your overall health. Now, so back to why you should care about weight loss. Hopefully you get the gist here. I want you to think, why should you care about fat loss? And there's two main reasons for this audience, right? The over 50 pickleball player that we want to consider. And the first is just to improve your overall health. Those of you out there that are maybe on some cholesterol meds, a statin, or some high blood pressure meds, or you're creeping up into pre-diabetes or diabetes range, or maybe you're already there. When we improve our body composition. I was almost going to say lose weight. I don't want to say lose weight. When we burn fat and build muscle, almost all of the metabolic diseases, so think high cholesterol, high blood pressure, prediabetes, diabetes, certain types of cancer, even Alzheimer's can be mitigated by maintaining a healthy body composition. But when we burn fat and build muscle, all of those conditions, all of the metabolic conditions improve. In other words, our overall health dramatically improves when our body composition improves. So that's the number one reason you should care about fat loss. Remember, we're not going to call this weight loss for the rest of this. And then the number two reason why you should care about fat loss is it will improve your athleticism on the court. It will improve your mobility, your quickness, and it will 100% make you more injury resistant, make you less injury prone by burning a little bit of fat, adding a little bit of muscle. Okay? So with that as our backdrop, let's talk about the secrets to sustainable weight loss. And so we now know we're going to call that sustainable fat loss secrets. Okay, here we go. Secret number one is not go on a diet. It's not keto. It's not intermittent fasting. It's not avoid carbs. It's not eat a bunch of carbs. It has nothing to do with dieting or restricting how much you eat at all. The number one secret I have for you, and look, if you take nothing from this podcast episode other than this very first secret, you're going to be way better off than where you are right now. And it's this: eat real whole foods. So as much as possible, what we want to do is get rid of those processed foods, especially those highly processed foods, those ultra-processed foods, which are scientifically designed to make you overeat. In fact, there was a fantastic study done, a double-blind placebo study, where they took two groups of people and they gave one free access to only whole foods, and they gave the second group access to whole foods in addition to highly processed foods. And then they switched them. So, right, if you were in this study, maybe you spent a few days in the whole food and then the next few days over in the highly processed food. Here's what they found. The group, regardless of which group it was, when they were in the highly processed food selection group, they overate on average 400 calories per day. That's a significant number of calories. You add that up over a week, I mean, you're getting close to a pound in terms of just calories of weight gain each week when you're overeating by that much. So just know that when we select the majority of our foods from processed and ultra-processed foods, we are much, much, much more likely to overeat. And here's a pretty dismal statistic. The percentage of food the average American eats is now comprised of over 70% of processed and ultra-processed foods. In other words, we're only eating, on average, about 30% of our diets from real whole foods. So think meat, think vegetables, fruit, dairy, eggs, things like that, whole grains. But almost everything we're eating now is highly processed. So that's where I want you to start. And if you haven't already done so, go back and listen. I think it was episode 3. I think it was like Eat Smart, Play Strong, something like that. Nutrition strategies for pickleball people over 50, something like that. But it was episode 3 of this podcast, the Pickle Fit podcast. And we talk about the Pickle Fit nutrition triangle in that episode. And the base, the foundation of that nutrition triangle is the foods you select, what foods you eat. Absolutely the most important thing for body composition, so for burning fat. It's the most important thing for building muscle. And it's the most important thing you can do to increase your overall health, is just to choose real whole foods. And look, as I'm saying this, I realize that we choose, the reason we eat so many processed foods, over 70% of our diet's now made up of processed, ultra-processed food, is it's multifactorial, let's face it, but it's because they're cheap, they're easy, they're delicious. So fair enough. So here is my hack for secret number 1, which is eat real whole foods. And my hack for this is to meal prep. Now look, some of you are probably envisioning bodybuilders with 10 Tupperwares full of chicken and broccoli and rice on their counter and a scale to weigh everything out. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is just cook a whole bunch of food at once. It doesn't take any more time to cook 5 chicken breasts than it does to cook 1 chicken breast. I'm not really a big chicken breast fan myself, but it doesn't take any more time to cook, say, 2 chicken thighs than it does to do 2 dozen chicken thighs. Cook a whole bunch at once, stick it in a Tupperware, throw it in your fridge, you have it for later. So that's my hack for you. It doesn't have to be anything fancy, but cook, especially a lot of the proteins, your starches, so rice, potatoes, things like this. As we're cooking these, let's just cook a whole bunch and put these leftovers in the fridge and then grab them out and eat them when we want them. All right, secret number 2 for sustainable fat loss is this: prioritize healthy protein. Now, you may have heard me on this show, I think I probably said it a couple times now, our protein goal for those of us over 50 who are interested in increasing our level of pickleball play, our level of athleticism, and in the context of this conversation, we're interested in burning fat and building muscle, we want to eat 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. So let's go back. I think at the beginning I said, hey, just imagine if you're a dude and you weigh 200 pounds, you wish you weighed 100, I don't know, 170 pounds, then you'd want to aim for 170 grams of protein each day. That's a lot of protein, just a heads up. Similarly, I think we said if you were a lady, you weighed 150, but you wish you weighed, I don't know, 125 or something, then that lady would want to aim for about 125 grams of protein a day. Again, that lady's going to be surprised how much protein that is. That's a lot of protein. When I say healthy protein, I'm talking about in terms of animal-based sources. We have our lean cuts of beef, our lean cuts of pork. We have all of our seafood. We've got poultry, so there's going to be your chicken, your turkey. Bison's another good one. When we're looking specifically at beef products, anytime we can get grass-fed and grass-finished, that's typically going to be leaner and healthier. It's going to have a higher omega-3 fatty acid profile. Not to get too nerdy, but that's a good thing. You want that for both fat loss, muscle building, as well as for overall health. Eggs and egg whites are great sources of protein. So keep in mind, an egg only has 6 grams of protein per egg. So you'd have to eat a lot of eggs to get a whole bunch of protein, but the egg whites contain a bunch of protein. And then moving on from meat sources, we have your non-meat sources, which are dairy sources. We have your milk, your Greek yogurt, your cottage cheese. All of these are great sources for protein. And then moving from there, we have lots of plant-based things. Classically, that's going to be like your edamame and your tofu, things like this. Know that a lot of your beans, legumes, even nuts, they have decent amounts of protein. Now, when we talk about protein, protein's not just one thing. So the protein that you find, say, in a block of tofu or in some peas or edamame is not the same quality as you would find in lean ground beef. The difference is proteins are made up of a bunch of different amino acids, and we get the most bang for our protein buck when we get this bigger amino acid profile, and we're going to find that primarily in animal sources of protein, so your meats, your dairy-based products, and then we're going to move down in protein quality as we get into some of those plant-based. So those of you out there that are vegetarian or vegan, you're going to have to work a little harder. You're going to have to work a lot harder, frankly, to get those protein goals that I mentioned and to get enough protein in. Those of you that are omnivorous, you want to get as much of that protein goal as you can from those higher quality protein targets, those animal-based protein sources. Now, before I get into my next weight loss secret or fat loss secret here, keeping with our theme here, I will say this. This is an area where I really like supplementation. Find yourself a good, high-quality protein powder supplement. I think that's a fantastic way, especially for those of you starting out that are just starting to ramp up your protein intake. A scoop or two of protein powder every day. Fantastic way to bolster those numbers. Now, again, going back to protein quality, far and away the biggest bang for your protein powder buck is going to be a high quality whey protein. So if you tolerate dairy, whey is definitely the way to go. Again, remembering we want that really robust amino acid profile. But from there, if you don't tolerate dairy, my next recommendation would be a bone broth protein powder. Sounds gross, but I really love a company called Paleo Valley. I don't have any kind of relationship with them or anything, but I just love them. They make a vanilla and they make a chocolate bone broth protein powder, both of which are absolutely freaking delicious. Not kidding. You got to try it to believe me. Trust me. Really, really good tasting. So that would be my second recommendation. If you don't tolerate dairy and you can't do whey, or whey doesn't sit well with you, move to something like a bone broth, a good high quality bone broth protein powder. If that sounds gross, or if you're just, hey, I'm plant powered here, I'm a vegan, then you're gonna have to rely on a really high quality plant based protein powder. And for that, I really like the Organifi protein powder. They do third party testing for glyphosate and other heavy metals and toxins and things like that, which are commonly found in even some of the more expensive plant-based protein powders that you would find, say, in a health food store. So just be careful if you're buying plant-based protein powder that you're getting something that's third-party independently tested for things like that. All right, so my hack for prioritizing healthy protein is this. Start every day with a high-protein breakfast. No more cereal, piece of toast, and orange juice. I mean, those of us who grew up in the 70s or even the 60s, that was what a nutrition breakfast was. We're going to start our breakfast with some Cheerios or some Wheaties, the breakfast of champions. I'm here to tell you, you want to be sick, frail, overweight, carry excess body fat, and be metabolically ill, eat that every morning. That's not going to serve you, unless so as you age up. So that's my hack there. All right, so enough for protein. Let's move on. Secret number 3 for sustainable fat loss, lifelong sustainable fat loss, is to slow down, to eat mindfully. You want to change your relationship with food from one where you're just kind of scarfing your food or eating at your desk, eating in the car, eating on the go, eating mindlessly, scrolling your phone or watching the news while you're eating. These kinds of habits tend to, similarly to processed foods, when we're eating quickly, when we're eating in a distracted state, we're much, much more likely to overeat. So we've got studies that back this up. People that eat in a distracted manner or are eating in a hurry tend to overeat. There's also some biological nerdy reasons why that is. You have some hunger and satiety hormones that take a little longer to get triggered. In other words, your stomach's going to tell your brain, hey, I'm full, we don't need any more food. But you can actually eat faster than that chemical message is sent to the brain saying, hey, we're full, stop eating now. And by the time that signal's sent to the brain, you've already overeaten. So my hack for secret number 3 to eat mindfully, to help slow you down, is to do this. I want you to eat all your meals sitting down. So, at the dining room table or kitchen counter, kitchen nook, wherever you normally take your meals, I want you to eat your meals there, and I want you to eat them without any electronic distractions. Yep, I want you to put away your cell phone or your mobile device that you typically scroll while you're eating. I want you to turn off the television, and I want you just to eat slowly, mindfully, and without distractions. So that's my hack there. Secret number 4 for sustainable fat loss is don't drink your calories. So this is for you, those of you that are swinging by your favorite barista, coffee shop, Starbucks, whatever in the morning, and you're buying these crazy 700, 800, 900, 1100 calorie coffee milkshake kind of creations. This is also for those of you out there that are your soda drinkers. This is for those of you out there that are drinkers, as in alcoholic beverages. Let's start to cut down on the amount of calories we're drinking each day, and let's look for some healthy substitutes there. And I'm here to tell you, your healthy substitute is water. Now, that could be flavored water, but we want to basically swap out these coffee creations. So these are things that have whipped cream or have pumps of flavor, vanilla, chocolate, hazelnut, or I'm recording this in October, so probably pumpkin spice for some of you, the pumpkin spice latte crowd out there. Let's try to swap some of that out for something healthier, something lower calorie. Now, my hack here is exactly that. Let's swap out sodas. Let's swap out heavy flavored coffee creations for water or flavored water. Pretty simple there, but staying hydrated in a healthy manner is 100% going to help you with your fat loss goals. It's going to help you stay healthy. It's going to help you build muscle. It's going to help you feel better. It's going to make you more mobile, make you a better athlete out on the court. So there's a lot of reasons why you want to stay hydrated. And here's the thing, those coffee creations, those alcohol drinks, those sodas, they don't really count towards your hydration goal. So let's start to swap some of those out for healthy liquids like water or flavored water. Secret number 5 for lifelong sustainable fat loss is this: know your numbers. And by know your numbers, I think that everybody should spend at least some time discovering what their calories are. How many calories a day are you eating? How many of those calories are coming from protein? How many of those calories are coming from carbs? How many of those calories are coming from fats? I'm guessing most of you listening to this don't know that. And if you do, hats off to you. That's amazing. But I want you to spend some time weighing, measuring, and tracking your food. So that's my hack for this. My hack for this is to spend a week, download an app. MyFitnessPal is probably the most common one, but there's tons of them out there. You can just Google calorie tracking apps. There's a bunch of them, Chronometer, a whole bunch of them. But download one of these. You don't need the pay version unless you want all the bells and whistles. A free version will be fine, or a lot of them have free trials. But you want at least a week, because we want to track through weekdays as well as weekends, because let's face it, many of us have different eating behaviors on weekdays than we do on weekends. But I want you to weigh, measure, and track all of your food for a week. I know it sounds like a pain in the ass, but hear me out. Go on Amazon and type in digital food scale. They're less than $20. They're cheap. It'll be at your house in 2 days. So get you a little food scale so you can start to, if you don't already have one, so you can actually weigh out your food. But I want you to spend a week weighing and tracking your food. A couple of things are going to happen here. As I said, you're going to find out how many calories you average a day. So that's pretty nifty, right? You'll have 7 days worth of data. You're going to take 7 days worth of total calories. You're going to add them all together, divide it by 7. That's your average calorie intake per day. But you're also going to find out how much protein you're eating. Remember, I said I want you to aim for 1 gram of protein per pound of ideal body weight. Well, if you don't know how much protein you're eating right now, that doesn't really help you a whole lot. So you're going to get some awareness there. But here's the other big thing that's going to happen when you do this, even for just a week. You're going to learn portion sizes. If you've never measured 1 tablespoon of ketchup to see what a sorry, tiny amount of ketchup that is, or I think jellies and jams, most of those, a serving size is 1 tablespoon. I'm here to tell you 1 tablespoon of jam will not cover a piece of bread. It won't cover half a piece of bread. So it's just a small amount of food. Similarly, if you've never measured granola, typically a serving size of granola is a 1/4 cup. That's a pathetic amount of granola. It's a stupidly small amount of granola. And until you actually measure that out, pour it in your bowl and go, oh, okay, so that's 1 serving size. Now you're starting to dial in what a serving size is. Similarly with your proteins, if you've never weighed, 4 ounces, what does 4 ounces of chicken breast look like on a scale? How much meat is that? How much is 6 ounces versus 8 ounces? You really start to get some awareness of portion size here. So again, you're going to get a lot of wonderful information by doing this week-long task, this weighing, measuring, tracking all of your food. You're going to find out how many calories you're eating. You're going to find out how that differs on the weekdays versus the weekend. And you're going to learn a lot about serving sizes. So secret number, what are we on? This is secret number 6 for long-term permanent fat loss. And it's this: get strong, add muscle. More muscle equals a faster metabolism. Faster metabolism equals sustainable, lifelong body composition change. So what I want you guys to do is think strong, not skinny. So most of us, our minds go straight to that diet, but I want you to focus on getting strong. Now look, it's a fallacy that we can convert fat to muscle. It just doesn't work that way. You're not going to take any fat in your body and magically convert it, change it over to muscle. But you can do what's called body recomposition, which is burning fat and build muscle. And remember I said that if you were to lose 5 pounds of fat, gain 5 pounds of muscle, you would look and feel dramatically better and different. Same thing here. When we build muscle, we add even a modest amount of muscle to our bodies. I'm not talking about anything crazy. I'm not talking about you ladies becoming some kind of She-Hulk or you dudes magically turning into Arnold Schwarzenegger. You won't, by the way, even if you try really hard. But just a modest amount of muscle will really start to speed up that metabolism. And that works hand in hand with fat loss. So I want you guys to start to think, again, think strong, not skinny. You ladies think about being lean, toned, and athletic. You guys really think that same thing. I want to be lean. I want to be strong. I want to be athletic. I don't want to be skinny. At our age, skinny equals frail. Skinny equals losing muscle. We don't want weight loss at the expense of muscle loss. So we want to create an environment where we're building and maintaining lean muscle mass, which automatically then speeds up the metabolism. When we speed up our metabolism, we burn more calories while we're at rest. And when we do that, that's the secret really to that sustainable lifelong fat loss that we're looking for. And so my hack here obviously is to start a strength program. If you're not following some kind of professionally designed age-appropriate strength training program, some sort of functional strength training program, strongly recommend you do that. I think it was last episode we went into detail about how we might program for strength training for the over 50 pickleball athlete. I think the episode before that, we talked about some of my favorite exercises, strength training exercises for pickleball athletes. So make sure you go back and check out those episodes if you haven't already. But I would strongly recommend that you start some sort of professionally designed strength training program. We have one here. It's called My Pickle Fit. You can go to mypicklefit.com if you're interested in that. But that's my hack there is if you're not already doing some kind of 2 to 3 days a week of strength training, that you start adding that in. All right, so that brings me to my final secret for lifelong sustainable fat loss, and that is get some shut-eye. So secret number 7 is to get some sleep. And now this one doesn't come up often enough when we talk about fat loss or weight loss or health or muscle building, but it should. Getting a minimum of 7 hours of healthy sleep every single night is one of the biggest hacks you can do for fat loss, for muscle building, and just for overall health. I mean, look, just anecdotally, you know the feeling of not getting enough sleep, waking up and feeling like crap. You're probably grouchy. You probably don't feel as good. You're in a crappy mood all day. You make poorer food decisions when you're sleepy. And there's some biological reasons why that is. But I think all of you can relate to that experience. And then the exact opposite is true. When you get a good night's sleep, you wake up feeling superhuman. You're badass. You're ready to take on the world. You're ready to go and kick ass. So while it may not have been a secret or a hack or a tip that you were thinking when you're thinking about, hey, how do I sustainably lose fat? One of the best things you can do to lose fat, keep it off, and maintain that healthy body composition for a long time to come is to dial in your sleep. So there's a lot of sleep tips out there. I've done several podcasts over on my other podcast, the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show, where I've talked to sleep experts. I've done some solo episodes on how to really dial in your sleep. If you're interested in that, hit me up. You can just email me at coach@mypicklefit.com. I'll send you those links there. But my hack for getting better sleep is this. Start getting consistent bed and wake times. In other words, start going to bed at the same time every night, more or less, and waking up at the same time. Now, for most of you, that's probably not an issue, say, Sunday through Thursday, but where things really get changed up is on the weekend. So I want you to practice going to bed at the same time every night, waking up same time every morning, weekdays and weeknights. Because here's what happens. When we stay up later on the weekends and then subsequently sleep in later perhaps, or maybe not for some of us, we just stay up later and then still get up at the same time, we're throwing off our circadian rhythms. And basically what you're doing is you're giving yourself jet lag every single week. When you stay up 2, 3, 4 hours later than you normally do on the weekends and you do on the weekdays, you are basically giving yourself jet lag. Think about it. It's the same thing. That's why many of us wake up on Mondays feeling like crap. That's why Garfield says, I hate Mondays, because he's staying up too late, right? Remember Garfield the cat? And I hate Mondays. At any rate, so that's my tip for you there is to, as much as possible, get that consistent bed and wake time. I think you'll find that makes a huge difference in your overall sleep quality. So there you go. There's my top 7 secrets for sustainable fat loss. So let's finish here. Notice what I didn't say in these top 7 secret tips for sustainable fat loss, and that's to slash your calories. or to go on a diet, which, let's face it, that's the first place that most of us go when we think about losing weight. And look, I'm not saying calories don't matter. Calories absolutely matter. Calorie balance is a real thing. There's this pesky thing called physics, the law of thermodynamics, right? So calories in, calories out, they matter. But you have this very complex mechanism in your body called your metabolism, and it matters more. And we set ourselves up for success long-term by fueling our bodies as opposed to depriving our bodies. Now, if you want more in-depth information on this, if this is the kind of information that really lights you up, hey man, I'd like to learn more about this, head over to my other podcast. It's called the Over 50 Health and Wellness Show. You can just search for that in whatever podcast app you're watching or listening to this show on. But that's what I've got for you this week. I want you to think about fueling yourself as an over 50 pickleball athlete. And what you're trying to do is not lose weight and hit some arbitrary number on the scale, but what you're really trying to do is build a lean, strong, capable, healthy, vital body that lasts. So there you go. That's what I got for you this week. Until next week, stay strong. Okay, folks, that's a wrap for today's episode of the Pickle Fit Podcast. I hope you're feeling fired up to hit the court stronger and smarter. If you've enjoyed this show, please don't forget to subscribe, please leave a review, and please share this episode with a fellow pickleballer. Let's grow this community of fit, fearless, and injury-free players. Until next time, stay strong, stay mobile, and keep crushing it out there. I'll see you on the court.